Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of the Woke Salaryman podcast, and today we're doing a little different thing than usual where we have everybody, all the employees of the Woke Salaryman company are all here. Yay!
Yay.
And what are we doing, Viv?
So we're here to talk about why good employees eventually go. I think if you're a good employee, or if you're a boss, or if you're just a regular employee, we hope you enjoy this conversation. Yes, even a bad employee. Wen Xin is the first time coming on the podcast.
Yes.
This is my second time. Wen Xin, introduce yourself a bit.
Hi, I'm Wen Xin. I'm the artist.
And
She don't know how to big herself up, so I think I help her. Wen Xin is somebody that comes and she was supposed to help us with the art, and originally it was me drawing a lot of it. Then since she has joined, I think I've drawn less and less and less because she's faster than me and oftentimes she's better than me. So I think actually it's better for the business if she just draws most of it. So I've become more of an art director role as a result. And so she actually, I would say now, is the main artist at the Woke Salaryman.
Woohoo! And Wen Xin has been here for a year plus.
2 years soon actually.
Wow.
oh shit, that's very
Yeah.
long.
Damn.
In March will be.
Oh, that's crazy.
Damn.
Which is very soon.
And next one, Viv, you say?
I'm Viv, I'm the account manager here. I'm reaching my 4th year.
Oh really? I think you 1 year more than me.
Oh, paiseh, 3rd year in fact.
Third year.
So I manage clients and more stuff.
She's very cool, and
She
she
does a lot of
also
things.
appeared in our previous podcast. You
Yeah,
can
so don't
see
need
it.
intro so much.
Yeah. My name is Ruiming. You all know me. I write the stuff for the Woke Salaryman.
You're very famous, everybody.
Yeah,
knows
everyone
you.
know already.
Okay, anyway, over to Wei Choon. I'm very excited to be here. Anyway, over to Wei
Yeah,
Choon.
and I'm Wei Choon, I'm one of the co-founders also, and then I do some of the art now, and then I make the YouTube stuff. So if it's not good, it's my fault.
Oh no.
It's true. It's true. it's
So that's us. Yeah. And the format will be through a series of questions that
Yep.
Viv will pose to us. So let's start.
Yes.
Shall we?
Okay, so let's just jump right into it, right? So the first question is, why do we think good employees leave?
For me, I always think it's an old saying that I heard a lot of times, which is that people don't quit the job, they quit the manager. So I think the immediate manager has a very important responsibility in checking in with the employee to make sure everything's okay. And I think oftentimes employee leave, not just because of the company, but it's because the management situation is not great.
Maybe in the past people stayed longer in the job, but nowadays people are actually incentivized to leave. Sometimes when you stay too long at the organization, stuff gets stagnant. You don't really learn anymore, and then from there you can't really jump to your next career. Actually, now if you go apply for a job and your resume is 10 years in one place, never change, that might actually affect you negatively. So I feel like nowadays employers also want employees who have been around to quite a lot of places, learn a lot of things, so they can provide a wider perspective to the organization, which is why I feel like it makes sense that good employees leave at some point.
Actually,
So you're
quite-
saying it's part of being a good employee that you will leave?
Yeah.
I think so.
So there are time almost coming soon, is it? Are we
okay
saying
lah.
that?
I mean, if we now do anything, they'll probably leave at some point.
Right.
And that's okay. It's okay.
That's okay. Yeah.
Really,
It's
it's
okay.
okay. Yeah.
It's okay.
I think like what you said, but also I guess employees at different points of their life they have different goals. So your goals change. So it depends on whether the company can keep up with those goals. For example, you want to do something different or whatever. So you might go to another company you think you've learned enough in this company, then you might go somewhere else.
Right,
So-
I think that's good too, because it's not just good or bad. It
Yeah.
could
Yeah.
just be we're just going
Yeah,
towards different
exactly,
things, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
But then a follow-up question is, what is even a good employee? And as an employee asking this question, I feel very insecure.
Yeah, you should answer.
You should
I
answer
don't
first.
I don't
I
know. I
just
don't
You
give
know.
the-
answer first, then we answer.
I think the most standard one, which is a good employee will drive me more business than they cost me. That's it. It's a profit thing, so I think that is I think business-wise you can't run away from that. Profitability or at least productivity has to be a net positive to even be considered a good employee, in my opinion.
Yeah, so it's either you produce revenue or you save money.
It's also a positive outcome if morale is better. So I could be somebody who's a good team player, but I'm not a super salesperson or whatever, but I still make the overall vibe good. I think that's a good employee too.
So I mean, other than what we mentioned, the pure numbers, obviously there are other things that matter, like the effort you put in, the type of vibe you bring to the company, morale, as you mentioned earlier. I think all these things come together to and merge with the numbers element to determine whether or not you're a good employee. But you see, the numbers is very important. Sometimes someone might work very hard, have very good attitude, but it's a loss for the company. Doesn't save the company money, cost the company money without actually generating a lot of
Income.
Yeah, income.
But isn't it the onus of the employer to design the employee's job so that the employee's job brings in money? You know what I mean? Because the employer is the one that sets up the basic job task, right? You wouldn't create a new role if it didn't bring in money, right? So isn't it the onus of the employer to go like, how can I design my employee's job well so that it brings in money already?
Yeah, actually, I mean, I agree with Viv. I mean, of course, it's the employer's job to set up a role that you are poised to succeed. But what if after even that role has been set up, many other people are succeeding, and this person cui over here, right?
Yeah.
then that's the
Then you fire lah.
then that's the litmus test of good or not, right?
So if the employee is cui and not even meeting the minimum job standards, then that's when they are loss making lah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
But I think also in some cases, I've been in companies where they were very, very open with me about the things that I could do. So I can take a lot of initiative to do projects in my own free time and stuff. And some of these jobs are great because they let me be truly myself, and it unlocks a higher potential for me to be productive above, say, a role that is very restrictive. And I think nowadays also younger people don't like it too restrictive also.
Yeah, I think so too.
They like some space to be expressive. And I think I like what we do here and how we have it because we give you all some space to do your own way of doing things. I try my best. Like when I give Wen Xin a story, I try not to tell her, do it in this way. I just throw it to her. Partly because of laziness, I think. But also, I appreciate if she can surprise me with the way that she chooses to explore the topic. Yeah.
I think sometimes companies might also have a loss-making employee, but then maybe because the person displays promise in other aspects, tries some other new project on the side. So if you try to prove yourself, you try to put in effort, then at least there's that thing to kind of look at.
Yeah.
It won't be just okay, business case is bad, then don't even try. Okay let go lah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They must at least do what their job scope is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. At least hit
There's
the
a minimum, right?
right.
You're told to do XYZ, you must at least do XYZ, right?
I think in the public service there are grades, right? There's a C grade or something.
Oh,
So I
yes.
think
Actually, I don't know what I mean.
Expectations,
yeah, C grade is
I think.
mean expectation. So maybe good employees like a B. Right? You don't need to be the best. Don't need to go above and beyond. Do extra. I think that is there's an excellent employee.
Yeah.
A good employee just does slightly above what is expected.
I think the topic of job redesign has been coming up in recent years. What do you guys think job redesign is?
Just us guys, man. No, everybody.
Oh,
right?
sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, guys and girls.
And it's not we must say first.
Everybody
right?
lah.
Yeah, whatever lah.
Y'all want to say first? I think y'all should say first. What is job redesign?
You redesign the job.
Okay, thank you everybody.
End of the podcast.
End of podcast. Thank you, everyone.
So if I were to break it down, I think the word design is very important here because design means that you are changing it to suit a certain objective. That's what design means, And in my mind, redesigning a job means you change the job for a certain purpose. So that purpose must be very clear. I have not had a job redesign before, an official, formal job redesign with any of my previous companies. It does seem like a new thing to me. But I feel like what my experience has been working in all these different creative companies and creative roles is that I just kind of shift around. If I'm needed more because I started out doing cartoon and illustration, but eventually I worked my way into doing videography, and there was no official Wei Choon, I'm gonna stop doing illustrations. I just kind of went where I was needed, and then my role then I'll get a promotion, and then the promotion will indicate my new direction. There was never a sit down together with the employee to discuss where I'm needed and where I should be redeployed. And I think if it has to be that we have to label this thing job redesign so that we do it more, I think it's a good thing. Because it means employer and employee can both check in together to chart the direction together. Instead of just organically seeing where it goes, then, you're here, you're this low,
I think it just sounds like job redesign is a conscious effort on the employer's side to change the job to be more relevant.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's to the market conditions, or whether or not there's a business case, or whether it's to retain the employee. I have a classic example that is not a concerted effort to change the job role. So I think 10 years ago when I worked in advertising, there was this split between art directors. So we want an art director called digital art director. Then there's another role called art director. So the art director will do all the print stuff.
Wow,
Bus
print.
ads, exhibitions.
Bus ad, newspaper, magazine, blah blah blah. The fair price ad in the
The newspaper.
Newspaper, the art director do that. Digital art director will do all like the website stuff. Basically everything is digital.
Yeah.
But as time went on, everyone just became digital art director until the digital was dropped.
Right.
So when you're art director, it is known you
Default.
you do digital stuff because no one care about the print stuff anymore. But of course, during this process, I also see a lot of like traditional print art directors. They got let go from the agency. They kind of like took a back seat. I think in the mid 2010s, they either had to learn digital or they just they went to very niche jobs. Like, cause the market just kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
So I think, of course, if there was like if there was job redesign for these people, then there would have been some causes to say like, now industry is shifting. That's why everyone need to learn digital skills.
Right.
So we're gonna transform all of y'all into digital art directors. So I think that is what job redesign would have entailed in my mind.
Job redesign sounds very daunting, and actually even amongst ourselves we haven't had a formal, like Ruiming never sat me down and go, okay Viv, this is how we're going to transform your job through X, Y, Z. We just like, we see a market need, we see like, okay, can make money here, let's try to do this.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, on some front, like we have done some job redesign with your role, right?
Yeah.
Remember in the beginning you were just doing
client management.
client management, talk to client, send a rate card, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But after that, like I think we sat down and said, we had a conversation, right?
We had a conversation.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't a formalized thing, but it was a conversation.
Yeah, I was like, Viv, probably can't make you client services director like that, or we can't make you account director because
it's just a team of four.
yeah, team of
Account director
four. People out there gonna know like, your title inflated like crazy.
Yeah.
So we thought we would find ways for you to learn other skills other than just
other than just client management lah.
Yeah.
Client management is a good skill, but I think it's not enough for
Yeah, so I mean, which is why we sent you for that course, right?
Yeah. Oh, I'm going for a certified financial planning course. I'm not going to be a FA, but it's just good financial
CFP.
knowledge.
Yeah. So my thinking was that by doing that course, then you can also
Try other things.
Yeah, I mean,
also.
you can create content. You can like be a sounding board when I write my things.
Yeah.
Kind of like an official,
Ah.
POV to look at things.
I've also been doing a lot of IG engagements as well. Yeah. Sometimes if it doesn't sound like them, it's probably me.
Yeah. So in that way, your job has been redesigned.
Yeah.
Not like in a way like digital art director becomes art director.
Correct.
But in another way, but it's also job redesign.
It's also job redesign in a way, right? It's also expanding my role a bit more. Like, if there's a need for the business to do something, then I do it lah.
Yeah.
Like, I do the accounting stuff. It's horribly boring, but oh wells. Yeah. Wen Xin, what do you think?
Actually, I'm not very sure. Like job redesign, will it entail like changing what percent of your job your role will be changed? Like does it entail like you'll make like a 180 change to your role, or is it just like adding a few extra stuff?
I think back to like the market need. I mean, if the market need is really 180,
Yeah.
then
might need, right?
yeah. But actually, if market need 180 like degrees, right?
Yeah.
Most companies will let go of you.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, then they just
Yeah.
hire someone who already has the skills to hit the ground running.
Yeah.
But I think like if it's like 10%, 20%, 30% even, then most employers I feel like will benefit a lot from redesigning the role.
Right.
Especially if the changes like take place over time.
Yeah.
And that is how change usually works lah. There's very few industry that 180, bam,
Yeah.
suddenly one day digital replaced print, right? Didn't happen, right? It took like years and years and years.
Yeah.
And I think like job redesign usually will be reacting to changes that have been happening like for quite a while already. So the 180 thing usually will not happen. But
Actually,
there's a chance.
because it reminds me of something that I went through. But actually, it's kind of like our next question about going through.
Then let's go through it. Oh, actually, next question is: have you had a job redesign before? And
Okay.
if yes, how was it? So we answered that question. Wen Xin.
So like, I think it's my first job after I graduated from uni. It was like I went to this startup place. After like the first month of being there, something like things didn't work out lah. Basically, the guy who like the boss, he's someone with a lot of business ideas lah. Basically, so he was like, okay, this doesn't work out. I'm just gonna do this other thing. So one day he just called me and he was like, I'm gonna do this other thing cause that didn't work out. I want you to continue with me, but as this completely different role.
Damn.
So he 180 the whole company.
Yeah, he 180. Yeah, he 180 the whole company.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
So it's like it's not even the industry is different.
Yeah.
Everything is different.
Wow.
The role is also
He just
different.
appreciates you as probably a
Yeah.
good employee that he wants you to be with him
so
for this
which is a
ride.
bit surprising because I've only been there a month, right? It's like
Right.
easier for him to just like let me go and hire somebody who
knows the thing.
who fits the need,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, right.
So I guess in a sense I did appreciate because it was during COVID, right?
Yeah.
So it was hard for me to find a job.
Right.
But it was really 180 for me that I was
Right.
like,
Yeah.
by you know.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You also need employee buy-in as well, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
employee is not invested in it, then it's like, huh? I'm an artist, you ask me to do like accounting, is a bit weird lah.
Yeah, like definitely I understand his need lah. Like, actually it was something like that. I was an artist, and he wanted me to become a project manager.
Damn.
Right.
And of a totally different thing. So
Yeah.
it's
Right.
like even the company base itself is like some totally
Something
other
else
different
totally.
business that I wasn't even interested in.
Right.
So I'm saying like cases like this probably few and far between.
Yeah, few and far.
Yeah, few and far between.
But yes, that's my own experience with.
How about at Mothership?
Yeah, so I was saying the thing at Mothership, like it was actually at Mothership. So when we were at Mothership, I started out as an illustrator and animator, but as it happened, I was one of the few people that knew how to handle DSLR. So I transited a little bit to video roll, and more I started doing more and more videos to the point where later on I became like a primary video person. Like at some point, I was actually teaching people how to use camera at the company. I was the video guy.
I was there. I was
And
at the
I
class.
was never trained. Yeah, you took the class.
You can vouch.
I was never trained formally as a videographer. You know, it just was something the company needed. Then I slowly shuffled there. There was no like, hey, Wei Choon, can we have you more as a video role?
Yeah.
There was more like we were on the sponsor content team. Then we need this facility. Wei Choon can fill it. Then I just move and fill it. And I think smaller companies tend to be like that. And smaller companies, I think titles also not as important because it's so small anyway. Like you're talking just now, if it's a small little shift, why don't you create a new title every time we make a small 10% jump?
Yeah.
But I think if you have made like 5 or 6, 10% jumps, then maybe time to revisit and like, okay, actually, what are you doing? And I think that was an interesting part of it. You brought up that job redesign also involves the title, and title is not just nothing. It's also how when you tell other people what you do, what they reckon your contribution is to a company.
Yeah.
So that has to be part of it also. But at Mothership, I guess there were little redesigns being done all over the place. It just happened extremely organically. Yeah.
And there was like no formal thing lah.
Nope.
Because remember when I joined Mothership, my initial role was just to write like fun listicles. But then after that they started doing sponsored content. I don't know
Yes.
we or them. Is that weird to say? Them
in
lah,
fact,
them.
you started doing videos for fun.
Oh yes.
He would see things like a shrew eating snacks downstairs, right? He filmed it and he'll get
Put a shrew video.
a lot of views. Like, so he became a video person also just by playing around with some free capacity that he had.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think like at smaller companies, it's definitely easier to have like all these like little informal job redesigns. But of course, like if the management doesn't address it or recognize it, it can quickly get very complex. Like the employee might wonder like, oh, I'm doing this extra thing now. You know, should I get paid more for it? So I think but I think at larger companies, if people start doing this, taking on different roles, I think things will tend to be like more formal. Someone will come and sit down with you and say like, oh, you know.
Because there are tiers to management levels and stuff also. So if I'm going beyond my station and I'm not being recognized for it with either pay or title, and I'm doing more than my colleagues who are at the same level because there are levels in big companies. So I don't have much experience here because when I was only at a big company for a short while, but I don't know if y'all have experiences at bigger companies where this was a thing, you know. Do you have, for example, you worked at a big company before?
I think my previous company, I was marketing for a bank, right?
Yeah.
So I think back in 2020 when I was there, AI was just starting to come up, like a little bit. So as marketing like people, we were told, okay, let's try out some AI stuff. So we would slowly try and dabble it. And I think right now when I saw like my colleagues' LinkedIn, now there's a MarTech department.
MarTech?
Like marketing technology department. Yeah, I gotta verify that, but I'm pretty sure it exists now. It's a MarTech department within the bank. And I think other banks also, I'm starting to see like MarTech roles, not just marketing roles.
So that's the whole industry redesigning
It's a whole
that
industry
role.
already. And when I was there, I could see like, okay, you know, they were trying to try it out because it's still developing. But back in 2020, we weren't very sure how much AI would have a presence in the marketing industry. Not like now where ChatGPT is the thing, right? So then now I know there's a MarTech department or there's a MarTech something, right? then I think that person's job would just be completely redesigned already.
So I guess
Yeah.
in this kind of big companies or this kind of big industry shifts, we have to also kind of, there's always probably like 5% of people who are in the forefront doing new things
Yeah.
that won't have their titles yet. Until the whole market recognize, then the Martech title come into existence, you know. So they might feel a bit like, what am I doing? Like,
Yeah.
I'm supposed to do this role, but I'm doing this whole other thing, you know, I'm not being recognized. Right? Will I ever be recognized for this role? Then until Martech comes, like, yes, like they recognize that my thing is unique now.
But it
a bit
had
like a
to-
digital art director
Yeah.
thing.
But it had to be a very like concerted effort from management to go, okay, y'all should try this out first,
Yes.
then evolve. Because
Yeah.
like in bigger companies, everyone's just so busy. There's
to
no
approve
time.
as
There's no
well.
time to even do extra stuff. So they had to carve out the space and like, okay, this is something we are trying to move to a
Right.
new space eventually.
So in this
Whereas-
case, the companies have to take the lead on this
Yeah.
redesign thing.
Whereas for us, I think because we have less meetings, because it's just
Yeah.
4 of us, so
Yeah.
there's more time to
Yeah,
experiment.
easy for us.
Yeah, so it's more organic for us to go and try new stuff.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay, third question. Do all jobs need to be redesigned to stay relevant? So we have a little board.
So let's
We're
write.
going to answer. We're going to write down our answer.
I'm ready.
Okay, ready, Wen Xin?
Yes.
1, 2, 3. Put it at the front. Okay, but I can't see what everyone.
Well, everybody say yes
We
except for
didn't,
me.
we didn't think about it.
Everyone say,
Okay.
okay, let's see it.
Because you said all jobs.
Yes, all
So I don't
jobs.
think it's all jobs because I do feel like there are some jobs that you can do forever. Not forever, like at least for your lifetime. Of course, everything will get replaced eventually, but I think some things will last at least one lifetime so that I don't need to go and redesign it and it will be useful for a long time.
Like what?
Explain that, like what kind of jobs?
Like Kim Zua, for example.
What's that?
Kim Sua?
Kim Zua is like you make the offering to burn.
Yes.
That kind of thing I don't think will be replaced that quickly. It's a very unique function. And then that role doesn't need to be disrupted every 5 to 10 years.
But the one they make things to burn, now they making new things
But
to
now they
burn.
do it-
Now they make
not like
iPad.
iPhone to burn.
Yeah, iPhone, you know. They
But
also
I can make that. What? If I can make Kim Jong, I can make
yeah lah,
iPhone.
but you also
it's,
have
it's the
to
same frame,
change
the
up
same
your-
shape
No,
and
but
stuff.
sometimes now they have like app to burn things online.
Huh?
yeah, then they got E.
I don't think that is still in practice so much yet, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what if Kim
But
Sua
man, what's the app?
Kimzo app.
I think I heard of it also.
But what if the Kim Sua industry is dying?
It is, isn't it?
It's dying, right? Then you can't do it forever, ma.
Yeah, but I think it only has to last one lifetime. I'm not saying it has to last forever, but if I'm a Kim Jong person, I can go through a good lifetime of earning without having
Okay,
to.
so I feel like what here happening is like a bit of like semantics, right? We just take
yeah.
it. I think he's thinking of like the duration where you can do a job.
I'm thinking from the
maybe-
employee POV, not
Yeah.
the timeline of the whole world POV. Yeah, maybe I answered it wrong.
It's okay.
No, it's no.
It's a, yeah, it's a
No
valid,
wrong
it's a valid
answers.
point.
Right,
It's
right.
a valid point of view.
Yeah. I mean,
Because I think otherwise very like kanchong, you know, the feeling like I always need to change, look out for the next thing, which maybe is what we should ask people to watch out for, especially if you're in a fast changing industry. But I also feel like there are things like that, maybe more agrarian jobs, like the kind of you farming, this kind of thing, and then you can carve out a business model just doing that, selling expensive but premium vegetables or whatever thing that can last for a long time without needing to constantly looking at the horizon.
Yeah.
You know, for the next thing. There's also, I feel like now industries coming back, which is more like handmade things that are purposely not relying on technology that makes it more premium and nice to have. Like expensive scissors that are made by hand. You know, I only make 3 pairs every year. They cost 3,000, 30,000 each, that kind of thing. You know.
Damn, 30,000.
I feel like it's coming back, lah. You know, with the advent of AI and like manufacturing at high quantities. You know, there's a respect for these things.
I think it makes sense, but I mean, just two things on my end. I guess like whatever people want is always changing. So at some point, the market demand will determine what kind of role is needed. And hence the job will be redesigned. So I mean, like for example, let's talk about like taxi drivers and Grab. Right, the consumer behavior changed that people want
True.
put convenience first.
Yeah.
They don't want to flag down taxi uncle say I don't go Jurong. Then they don't want. Nobody wants that anymore. Everybody wants convenience. So in that way, like that job has been redesigned. And I guess on your end, like maybe I mean about what you said about higher end goods being produced. I think definitely like there will always be demand for these roles that are quite unchanging. But I think people will find that the number of these jobs on the market for that.
It cannot support a lot of this.
Yeah, cannot support.
So mostly yes, but sometimes no.
Yeah.
Because got the word always there. That's why I believe.
That's why I wrote maybe also.
So I also don't want to like romanticize that. Oh no, everyone will be able to make 30,000.
Of course. Yeah, I'm not saying that also.
Yeah, just the market will be very small.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So you said maybe.
No, that's why. So Wei Choon's point is also why it's because of the when you
Always.
emphasize on it's all lah.
I
Then I was
cycle
like, cause like okay, to stay relevant, right? What is relevant is always changing.
Yeah.
So therefore, everything that you do must also be changing, right, to be relevant.
Yeah.
But yeah lah, I mean, I guess there will be very specific like kind of jobs that may not need to change, right? Or you may not need to change to at least survive lah. Like say, oh yeah, okay, my stuff is like not super relevant, but it still caters to like some
Still
very
okay.
niche market.
Yeah.
So I can just keep doing what I'm doing if I really wanted to lah. But generally, most jobs, I guess, will have to
That's fair.
change lah, right?
So I think like maybe 60 years ago you can survive as like a shoe shine boy, right? Then now you technically can survive as a shoe shine boy, but only at a very high end hotel where people care about such
It's an
things.
Yeah,
experience.
exactly.
But like for the mass market, no, you cannot be a shoe shine
Yeah,
boy
exactly.
because no one cares. Nobody wants to.
Right, so even if you don't change the actual work that you do, the way that you sell it or deliver it, the business model might be completely different.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like if my job is not redesigned, robots are going to take over my job. Or if my job is not constantly being refreshed, right? For example, account manager, my job is actually very manual. I basically, in a nutshell, I create solutions for clients and for you guys to have the best sponsored content. Right? Eventually, right, there is going to be a system or a way for my job to be replaced. At least 80% of the job, I feel. Right? There'll be some portal or some like magical matching.
Right. It's just reasonable to assume that
it's
it
just
will come.
reasonable, yeah, right? A robo AI chat
Robo
GPT
whatever,
thingy, right?
Yeah.
So I constantly fear that I am not relevant. I fear that, let's say I stay in this job for like almost 3 years, right? I'm scared if I'm not doing more and new things, then when next year I'm 30, when I maybe 31, 32, I go find a new job, right? Then people will be like, oh.
But 34, Viv. Don't say this kind of thing.
No, but like, as in, I mean, like, oh, you
I know, but isn't that such an anxious way to think about life? You know, but I feel like there's a way out, which is that you worry reasonably so that you don't have to worry all the time. So I will do my due diligence to check the industry to see whether I need to redesign. And once I've done my homework for a year, then I don't need to worry about it because I've done my work already. Instead of having this existential fear of like, what's coming? It's a robot of me. It's a robot Viv coming.
No, but because robot me is this robot account manager role is not here yet, right? I don't think there's a solution like that yet, but I can foresee it coming. So I counter my worries by doing extra stuff. Right? That makes me like, okay, I will be safe. So
what I'm proposing is that you just do a check once a year, survey the market, like, okay, I'm still safe, okay. Unless somebody tell you, hey, did you see this news about this new robo Viv that's damn good? Then you worry lah. But to constantly live in fear, I also think, that's why I write no. So I don't think just...
It's mentally not good.
Mindset-wise, we shouldn't go around just fearing like, what the robot Wei Choon gonna come? I don't think that's a...
Yeah, actually you mentioned about something like that in the chat
That's
yesterday.
true.
Yeah.
But I also think for your role, cause like a large part of your role is managing other people.
Yeah.
And that's something that robots can't do that well.
True.
And then also like, cause after working here, you talk to a lot of our clients. So you actually build quite a strong network. I feel like over the years. So people will know like, oh, Viv, she gets what creative work is. She can manage the clients well. She doesn't score bad words. She
doesn't score bad words.
She's the only one.
And I think all this is something that a robot cannot replace easily. It's trust.
Robot don't score bad word. Robot can arrive on time also. Right?
Okay, but trust, okay?
Trust. Okay, fair enough.
Trust.
Unless all the clients are robots.
No, because ultimately, like,
all the clients are robots.
a robot is a tool, right?
Yeah.
Then the person you work with is... So Viv, in the future, maybe she can use the robot and then they say, oh, this robot came
There'll
from
be a
Viv.
human at the end of it.
Yeah.
There's
It's
a human at the end. Maybe I
For
manage
now,
like 5 account manager robots.
Yes,
Right?
exactly.
But then the idea is that even if you can't see change will come.
Yes.
Right? And so I
So,
feel
so,
that's
so.
why I feel like we all have to redesign our roles.
Okay, but
That's
maybe
fair.
To
not
stay
be like
relevant.
more than 60% anxious all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Don't be so
Maybe like
anxious,
be 5% anxious most of the time.
Yeah.
I think that's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's alright.
Okay, next one,
next
let's go.
question. Firstly, should all employers consider job redesign for their employees? Okay, are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay, come.
1,
One,
2,
two, three.
I wrote a very weird thing.
Okay, what do you put, Wen Xin?
If they must IG.
If they must IG,
What does that mean?
I guess.
Oh, if they must.
must-
is that
Yes.
a Gen Z term? IG.
Huh? It's just I guess. Right? I got no
What if
space
they
to
must
write
Instagram?
already.
Yeah, I thought if they must Instagram.
Oh my gosh, I don't know. It's not even a Gen Z term. It's just an acronym.
Really, I guess.
No one says IG.
Yes, everybody says it.
Who says
We
it?
are just millennials. We're just old.
I think that no will say first.
Tell me
Okay,
in the
Ruiming, you
comments.
say first. Why did you say no?
I write no because sometimes the employee may not be willing, may be a bad actor, you invest and they go away. Sometimes there's like no trust between you and your employee. Then no lah. Or maybe sometimes your business is just failing or in a sunset industry. Then you just shut down the whole thing lah. Do something else. Sometimes I think it doesn't make sense to redesign the role.
True.
Of course, it will be good if you can,
Yeah.
but sometimes you don't need to force it on people lah. I think one of the points I probably want to elaborate on is like trust. I think sometimes there are, because people always complain about the employer, right? But sometimes also for employer investing a lot of resources on the employee who may not be a good long-term investment. That doesn't make sense for the company also. So let's say I send Viv for a 100k training course, which these things do exist. Then after that she leave like 3 months after the course is done, right? Or if I spend 6 months getting someone else to redesign a role, and then you leave when you find a better job. If there's no trust between me and Viv, then I would not want to even like consider this. I only want to invest resources in people that I trust to kind of like stay long enough, at least for a certain length for the investment to pay off. Because if not, then I just let you go lah.
I think I agree on the sunset industry thing. I feel like a lot of times, I've never been in these kind of companies personally, but I do see on the news, right, some companies try to hang on when it might be better to just cut losses. Then they end up taking a lot of loans, then they end up failing, and then they die, when they're really gonna die, then they have to let their employees go. And it's sometimes normally in the middle of like a financial crisis, right? Like when we saw in COVID period, a lot of people were retrenched. Even now, these are still happening. And I think job redesign should be done in peacetime, not wartime. Right? So when a company's in peacetime, consider job redesigns. But in wartime, focus on fighting your fires first. You put in the resources to go and reinvent the role, right? It's actually not for me specifically. It shouldn't be for Vivienne Ong specifically. It should be for the account manager role at the Work Salaryman. We redesign this role, right? And then there is some prospect of like promotion or progression, then that's okay. But if let's say you send me on this course and then there's no way for me to exercise what I've learned, there's no room for exercise what I've learned, or like there's no, maybe I'm doing a lot more, then 1 year on there's still no pay increase, then I'm like, okay, I'm doing more, but then there's nothing in it for me, then I will leave lah.
I think pay raise thing really depends on like the role lah. So imagine your old role is not making money.
Yeah.
Right? Your old role, you're lost in the company.
Yeah.
Then we train you
Yeah.
and put you in this new role.
Yeah.
But because of this new role, we managed to keep you.
Yeah.
Then I feel like no pay raise is needed.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. But
It's
then
accurate.
let's say you're doing so much already.
Give it even more.
Yeah.
to do.
Then we should say you're training, then you do even more.
Right.
Then
you should be
it makes sense
remunerated more.
for
It
you
makes sense, right?
to pay you, especially
Right.
if you bring in like the numbers.
Yeah.
If you bring in a higher revenue, you save more
Yeah.
costs, then it makes sense to kind of give you a pay raise or
Yeah.
Bonus.
bonus or
Yeah.
maybe even promote you.
Yeah.
Especially if there are more responsibilities.
No, of course.
I think job redesign might seem very tied to like promotion and pay increase, but it's
Not unneeded.
not exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
If Viv wants to leave after I spend like a considerable amount of like resources on her,
her, yeah.
I think like it's not illegal.
It's
right?
not illegal.
It's not illegal, but I will feel
You'll feel upset.
Feel sad lah.
I'll feel
Right.
hurt lah.
Yeah.
But then I also get it because it's not illegal.
Yeah.
You can do what you want, but I'll probably not have good feelings about it, and I might be scarred enough that I treat
Everyone else.
the next person in the same way.
You lose
also.
trust.
Yeah.
in everybody
Yeah,
else.
Yeah.
It puts you off. from
Employer
doing it.
trauma.
which I think what a lot of SME owners go through.
Yeah.
They put you in training, then the person leave after a while, then they become more cynical. So what happens when next person comes in, the person don't want to be trained, and after that the SME owner doesn't want to train the person, then the person unhappy, then it creates this cycle of like unhappiness within the SME.
Yeah, I used to feel the opposite, where I used to feel like if you want to send me for training, I have no obligation to you whatsoever, like business-wise, industry-wise, or even morally. Like you want to send me, I go lah, but I can leave. But I had my mind changed very recently because somebody was telling me like, they were explaining to me just how much time and money a company sometimes spends on, say, training somebody to the next level. Like, for some of these companies that are so big, right, the plan of action for raising somebody to the next level involves multiple courses that happens through the course of months. And if I sign you up for this track, it's a lot of money that is invested. And if you leave right at the end of that, they told me the amount of time and money, I'm like, wow, yeah lah, if I spend this kind of time and money, I would be so annoyed if you just leave. So through that, I can't understand, because I just did not comprehend the scale and the breadth of the process. Like you were telling us something about what the average, what the soldier training thing was.
So when I was in during NS, I went through this thing called midshipman training.
Midshipman training.
Midshipman
So they
in the
train,
Navy.
so they train young naval officers lah. Someone told me that it costs around 300k to train someone per pax lah, to train someone for like the 9 months of the training, because you have
300k.
Yeah, 300k.
Wow.
So I can only imagine like these numbers might be similar or
even more.
Yeah, they'll be even more.
For these Fortune 500 companies,
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe I just add one more point, right? I think the reason why I said it was the trust thing, I disagree also, is because I feel like for job redesign, while it is a personal thing for our company, because we are so small, I feel like for most companies it's not a personal thing, because maybe they're not redesigning Vivienne Ong's role, maybe they're redesigning all the account managers' role. All the account managers go for training together, right? So it is like, let's say one person wants to leave, then I think that's okay. If everyone wants to leave, I think that's okay too.
If everyone want to leave,
then it's the company's problem.
Right?
It's the company's problem.
True.
Yeah.
What's your POV?
Wen Xin?
Actually, like half, like, because like if it's necessary, they do it. That's all. If not necessary, then they don't do it.
right. So it will be done. It's like it will be done. Otherwise, they will die. Is it?
Yeah. Like, cause it also never say like all employees are like, say if there is a role that needs to be changed to fit your need, then you change it.
Right.
Not say I need to change everything.
Yeah, that's the reason why I put yes. Also very similar. It's just that, like, for me, I consider the question in a different way. I think I'm just thinking, it's for the company to design, because the owners cannot fall on the employee to initiate these things, or solely on the employee. The employee can suggest it. In my mind, also, I think the employee can suggest and lead it and initiate it, but the company must always be part of that thing. And make that call.
Of course.
Right.
Because if the employee putting in all the effort, then I go after a while. After I go upskill myself, everything.
Yeah.
Then this company
I
has done
pitch for
nothing
another
for me,
company.
right? Then I go. I just go elsewhere. It makes sense.
And if it's your company, it's your responsibility to stay profitable and relevant. So you must always be a part of it. That's why I put yes.
I think also important to remember that job redesign also benefits companies as well. You wouldn't put 300k if your returns were 1 million, right? So that's also important to understand as well.
Next question.
Next question.
Let's move on.
I don't know whether we answered this. If you have limited resources, will you focus on your job redesign efforts on your best performing or poorest performing employee?
Actually, this is an interesting question.
It is an interesting question.
But I think, like, for example, what McDonald's do, I think it's incredible, because they make everybody who works on that line output a certain amount. It's almost like being on a factory line. You can't mess it up almost. Like, everything is measured for you. And that is their innovation. Like, if you watch the movie The Founder, and how they fine-tuned the blueprint, they went on the parking lot and they tested out all the iterations to make it so that almost anybody can step into a McDonald's kitchen and be productive immediately. So in my mind, that is an example of redesigning a job role in the industry so that anyone, even the worst employees that don't take initiative, that will not go and automatically go and see how the customer is doing, can also perform efficiently. And I think that's fantastic as well. That is the employer designing the job so well that they can hire anybody, and as a result they also profit because they can hire
Anybody.
lower they don't have to pay so much money because anybody can do it. But I think maybe this is partly me as a creative person also. I prefer to work in roles where I have the space to try new things, and the risk is higher because I might spend 20% of my time trying this new video idea or this business idea that doesn't work. But what I need for that to happen is an employer that understands that Wei Choon might waste 20% of the time. But a lot of times I find that when these things work, they are awesome. Because there's so much space for you to try that oftentimes you come up and you have the space to come up with really, really new things that really carve out very strong competitive advantages in your industry. So I think in the long game, I prefer to be in that situation where I have the freedom as a best employee to contribute uniquely through my own means and expression. But I also tremendously respect roles that are redesigned so that every single employee, even the lowest of the lowest capability and initiative and drive, can succeed as well. Yeah.
So your view is like both also can.
Both are phenomenal business models because I honestly, every time I go to McDonald's, I am amazed.
Yeah.
And that's why
Not
you eat
sponsored
McDonald's.
by McDonald's,
It's not. But you know, like me and my wife has this thing where we go to every country we go to, we try McDonald's, and the consistency is
There.
astounding.
Yeah.
And it's something that they lead. There is no other chain that comes close in terms of consistency, in my opinion, across the globe.
If you go McDonald's and you're not amazed, I'm going to call you out. Hey,
Because you just
Why
look
you
at
not
the line. Yeah, you just look at them working at the back. It's like, wow, these people have come up with a system that everybody can contribute. Phenomenal.
It's actually a new system, you think about it. Like
Yeah.
10 years ago, you would never
Yes.
have imagined ordering from the kiosk.
Yeah.
Which I love because you don't have to
Yeah,
talk to
just
people.
watch the founder. The way that they disrupted the whole diner and dining system,
Amazing.
and it changed the world of dining as we knew it.
Is it on Netflix?
That's their contribution. I don't know Netflix or not. Lah.
Then where you watch
It's
it?
the one with Michael Keaton, I think. I forgot his name. Yeah.
Batman.
Yeah, he used to be bad. It's a phenomenal movie that everybody should check out. You really will see how they revolutionized by redesigning the job for the worst
Yeah.
employees, so to speak.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wow, interesting.
So that destroyed the
We
things
shouldn't
so
talk
that
very long.
nobody
I
can-
forgot the question. I see it again.
Will you do it for the best or the worst?
But I
yeah,
think
would
yeah,
you do it for
because-
your best or your worst?
Because McDonald's is such a big
But-
organization.
The question is, if you have limited resources.
Yeah, so if you have limited, is the different
Best,
story.
huh?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I,
mean-
think
Sorry,
I think
Yeah,
best.
from my point of view, also like the best employees, because my best performing employees are probably people I have high trust with. It's all back to trust. But of course, which is why earlier on I talked about effort earlier on also, because like you might not be performing well on a role, but you still put in effort,
Yeah.
and that allows like a business owner to still recognize you as a possible good employee. Sometimes people are just put in roles that they can't shine, and I think that's very normal and that's very common.
Yeah.
But it's the initiative and effort that it's kind of like waving like, hey, actually I know that
Differentiates
one.
them,
Can you give me
Yeah.
chance?
Actually, that might be the employee in a role in a department that maybe not profitable.
Yeah.
or
So
dying.
I mean, if this is something you like go force a fish to climb a tree,
Yeah.
then it's not gonna make it lah.
Unless it's a mud skipper.
Okay, I mean there are several species of fish like the climbing perch.
And some employees can do it.
Anabas
Well,
can
climb the net,
climb a
Gio.
tree.
Okay, you bring out the Latin already, I cannot win.
Okay, but I mean, sometimes the market really doesn't support the person, and then
Yeah.
the person just doesn't do well, and that's very normal lah. But if the person put in effort and initiative, then it will take a good employer to recognize that and possibly send that person to job redesign. But first, you must show that you must build trust with the employer, and that is done by initiative, empathy, understanding employer point of view, and trust.
But I feel like not in this company, because I think we're all
I can
quite
say
decent.
also.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. In some bigger companies,
If it's our
right?
company, can say
No,
also.
it's not.
Okay,
In
right.
some bigger companies, they give more work to the best employees.
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
So they also made the best employees try new things because the level of success is best
That's
there.
true.
Yeah.
That's true,
Right?
yeah.
And so I have a lot of friends who are quite high performers. And so they're thrown a lot of
Same.
new wacky projects and new like, hey, you got this new thing, go and explore, go and try this new project out. I don't trust the old employee, this other employee to do this because she's struggling a bit already or he's struggling a bit already. Right? So when I look at this question, I immediately think of this scenario. And what I think might be better, right, is perhaps have a conversation with your poorest performing
Poorest
employee. Figure out why they are performing badly.
Yeah.
If they don't know they're performing badly,
Yeah.
then tell them that
It
they
could
are.
be your fault also,
Right,
actually.
it could be the
right?
employer's fault also.
Yeah.
And then maybe like if the employee really wants to do better, then redesign the person's role based on
It's a tangping marshmallow. Yeah.
Tangping marshmallow.
Based on how to.
Based on like perhaps okay, is there something you're interested in? Is there a new market need that we can fit you into?
Yeah.
Then put your efforts into if the person is willing, so that trusting comes into play to making that person better. And then for your best performing employee instead, you can tell them, okay, right now we're focusing on redesigning your colleague's role.
Yeah.
But then for you, maybe then just reward them in a different way, give them more free room to play with like stuff, but don't make it into a job redesigning, damn tiring, damn shag.
It really depends on the industry. So creative design industry, I guess a bit easier because we can flex. Like you say, so let's say we have a team of 5 people doing some creative work, right? I can give the high performers some leeway. I can say, I don't need to report at the same time every day because I know you're good for it. But then how does that make everybody else feel? So do you tell the worst performers that actually you're not doing as well? So it's not that I don't trust your intention or what, but I think I need you to be here at the office more often and more standardly. How does that make them feel? Not very good also, right? And it could be my fault. Maybe the company that we are at, the work that we do just don't appeal to this person. But I think the onus is still on the worst performers in this case to then step up. Because this is my business objective, right? But it could also be that it's our fault because our system is not done in a way that allows them to succeed. There's also this kind of vicious cycle or spirals where the best employees or the best performers get the better opportunities that shine more. Because these are big projects, we cannot afford it to fail, so I give you again because you've shown to be good. Then it just spirals upwards, and because you get the old chaplang stuff, maybe work with the worst clients, your project also suffers.
Like winners keep winning, losers keep
That's
losing.
why employers also have to keep checking, am I being fair to everybody? Am I giving everybody the same chances? And sometimes when the projects are so critical, you cannot help but give it to the high performers because you cannot afford to have this project fall. So it's very hard.
Yeah, you're
It's
right.
very hard.
A lot of factors to
I think it's double
factors.
pronged. You have to do both consciously. You have to find opportunities to reward the people who are high output, maybe with more freedom or more leeway to do their own creative things. And you have to uplift the people who are not performing. Ask them why and how can I help. Do you need an opportunity to do a big thing? Can I partner you with somebody? Then we see how you do it. Give them the chance also. That's very important also.
I think for that, the business owner needs to have a good sense of what is happening.
Yes.
It's a very active management there. You can't just blanket give everybody the same treatment.
Because it's very easy for top management to just kind of focus on
The good people.
the good people, the more important things. Let's say there's no sponsor content coming in. Then I judge Viv's performance based on not managing any sponsor content. Then that's not fair to her. So So I need to have the awareness, say actually this is a bad year for marketing. That's why the results not good. Let's see how it's gonna make Viv relevant.
Blame the right things.
Fair. Okay. Who should make the move in this job redesign process? The employer or the employee?
Make the move.
Or maybe who should initiate?
Okay, ready?
Ready?
1, 2,
2,
3.
3. Okay.
Oh, okay.
What do we say?
I'm the only one that put E.
Okay, you explain.
Okay, explain.
Explain yourself.
So the reason I
Explain
put E,
yourself.
and there's a caveat to it, I think the employee is often at a better position to see which disruptions are more real than the other, because the E is often the one actually doing the work. So of course has to be involved, and has a certain macro perspective. He just made a pain face, so I'm saying and E. So employer often has a more macro perspective that will be useful, but the E is the one executing it. So I think the E should be the one that should take a more active and front up role. That's my opinion. Yeah.
Well, I disagree because sometimes the employee can be too caught up in their own little thing. Too many tasks. Most people will be in the broad base of the food chain. So I think for most people, the employer will be able to see what is relevant for people to go to.
Right. Your E, why you're right? You are E's, why do you write us?
We are employees, why we say employer?
Yeah, why you write employer?
I was damn confused by that question.
But if it goes back to the business need thing, right? Employee might not know. For example, at my role, I might depend on the role so case by case. So I don't deal with clients. So I'm not sure if money is coming in, if we are earning money or not, I have no idea. I just get paid monthly. But if I don't know, then I don't know what the company, like say we are not earning money, say we have no clients, so we need to transition to do something else to get clients, but I don't know this. So you have to tell me, right? But
and
so
I do try to tell you,
but case by case,
I guess it'll be weird if every week I go and, hey, Wen Xin, we earn this amount.
no.
I know what I mean, exactly.
If things are going fine, then that's fine. But if suddenly like, oh no, we have a crisis.
I said it would be presumptuous if you came up to me and say, hey, Wei Choon, I think we should redesign our role because
I think we are not earning money.
Right. That's true. I get that point of view. Right.
But of course, like the communication is not always easy also lah. Right? Which is why I guess sometimes companies just choose to just like drop the employee like a hot potato. Like, oh, I don't want.
It's easier to do that.
I don't want
right?
anymore.
Right. It's easier
It's
to
hard
do
to communicate these things sometimes also.
Right.
Not an excuse, but yeah. You know.
How about you, Viv? What do you think about?
I think same thing as well. Cause so as the employees, we are very caught up in our task, but ultimately, I feel like where the company goes in terms of the direction should be set by the employers. Employees can have a input into it. Like sometimes I will tell you all, Wen Xin and I will tell you all stuff. But for example, does the company want to move in this direction or that direction? Does the company want to perhaps focus on growing more followers this year or building more brand resonance this year? That's up to you guys, right?
Yeah.
And so in that case, if where job redesign takes place is where you guys decide the company will go, right? Like I say, y'all, if let's say for example, you want to expand internationally to different companies, then probably our roles would be redesigned. Perhaps you will have to work with a lot of translators, right? You have to be a project manager for artists who in different languages or something like that, right? For me, it will be client management all over different countries.
Maybe do events management.
Events management.
If that is
right?
whatever's making money. Right?
Correct.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it'll be presumptuous for us to say we think the company should go here this year because blah blah blah. You guys have to decide that lah.
I mean, from the employer point of view, it's also talent retention, right? Because if I'm not going to, because we always advocate people to think of themselves as a business. If like we are not like valuing the staff well, right? Then they are going to leave at some point also. So yeah, I think if you want to keep your employees, you should do job redesign.
But I also think like the E should also take a very active role in initiating. So I don't know how it would iterate out because it will be weird also if the E just always, the employee keep coming to me to tell me where they think the company will go. Then I reject them every time because they don't have that broad perspective. But I think it should be not so much just employer led all the time, but maybe employer can come in and say, do you have any thoughts about where we are and what are the difficulties in you working? Are there any tools you want to use upcoming? You know, so it's a both side kind of thing. I think because if it was me, I'll just act blur, live longer kind of thing. I'll just keep quiet, right? You don't tell me, I just quietly do my thing, and why would I go and keep saying to you? You always reject me. I always pitch things to you, then I do for what, right?
Next question. Is it fair to ask your employees to work overtime when going through a job redesign? Maybe I set some context, okay? I have my account management roles. Maybe Ruiming wants to transition me into a writer, right? I still have to deal with my account management role. So what happens is that I'll have to end up maybe putting in 2 hours more of work just to transition smoothly into this job redesign. Is it fair to ask your employees to work overtime?
Why your answer start with D? I don't know.
I think it says depends.
Oh,
yeah,
But it's just gonna be depth. Dippy. Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
1, 2, 3. Okay, what do you all say? Let's share answers.
I said depend, he said depend.
I said yes, but with limits.
I say
wow.
I say no generally.
No, generally. Okay.
Who want to go first?
I don't want to work overtime.
Right. Fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
No, because okay, so it depends, right? Because I mean, generally, like, if we say like the job redesign doesn't come with like any kind of like pay increase, any kind of promotion,
Then you got OT somewhere.
Then I still got OT. Then why would I take it?
Yeah.
If that was the case, right? If say, oh, you're not gonna be paid extra, you gotta work OT.
Do you want it?
Then I'll be like, no.
No, right.
No thanks, right? So, I mean, if there's some kind of like benefits, or if I say I think, okay, this training that you're gonna put me through is really valuable for me. I really want. Then maybe yes. But if you say, okay, you present to me like, okay, this is our business need. We need to change our role like this, but you need to OT. Then I'll be like, you know.
Sure.
So I guess it depends lah. But I just put general answer.
No, I agree with you. Okay, so we missed out a question, which is why do you think many people do not go through job redesign? I think I agree with you. If let's say I don't agree with where the job redesign is going, like maybe I work here, then you guys want to expand to, I don't know, cover
Brunei.
like men's sporting goods on your page, right?
It sounds exciting.
Cycling.
Let's go.
Yeah, like
Wait.
We put beef on it.
What is men's only sporting goods? I don't know.
men's sporting
It's
goods.
saddles like that made for men parts.
Like okay, maybe you want to create a new comic page that covers like cycling and like
that sounds exciting.
right. Sounds like something y'all would
Cycling
do,
memes.
right?
No market, but okay.
Then y'all make me go and go study like
cycling things.
things, right?
Yeah.
When you cycle to work every
Yeah,
day.
then I'm like,
They force you to cycle to work every day.
not me cycle to work every day, force me
commit
to
3
go
hours,
for like cycling events to like scope out and talk to new clients. To be
You're not
honest, I'll be
interested.
like, no lah.
Yeah, no,
like,
no.
like no, I don't agree with this, and
Yeah.
I probably won't. I'll probably say, can I keep to my current role now? I don't want to do extra hours for this because this is your project, right?
But you
Even-
said yes.
So I said bracket, but with limits. I said
So the
but with-
limits is what you want to do, like, whether you're
Yeah.
interested in it. But you think it's fair to ask people to overtime to train?
I think it's fair, but with limits. So, so with limits, right? So
Yeah.
perhaps that sporting example,
Yeah.
right? But if I don't see it beneficial for me as well,
Mm-hmm.
then to be honest, I'll just ask you guys, can I do my current role lah? But if let's say it's somewhere that I'm like, oh yeah, this does sound reasonable that the company is going to expand here.
Yeah.
Then you guys sit me down and tell me, okay, you know, Viv, this is the plan, right? For 3 months, we're going to let you try out this job redesign. Maybe you have to put in an hour extra a day just to make sure this is okay.
Right.
You give me parameters, an hour extra a day. If it's too much, then maybe
We can negotiate and have a
negotiate a
conversation.
bit,
Not hard
have
no
off
lah.
in lieu, because you
Right.
also don't want to burn your employee out when going through
Yeah,
job
true,
redesign. Then I'll be like, oh yeah, a reasonable employee will see like, okay,
Okay
a
lah.
bit shack to OT,
but okay
but
lah.
that's okay because
Right.
it's beneficial for everybody, and
Okay.
I am interested in it.
Right.
Yeah, so that's my answer.
Okay, but just to assure you right now, we have no plans to do
Oh, that's
any
great.
men cycling jobs.
Not in the next 9 months.
No, yeah, maybe next time we'll have. We'll
Okay.
get somebody else to do it. We won't get you to do it.
That's great.
Get
I
Wen
have
Xin.
no
Get Wen
You're gonna be the artist for men cycling. Okay, women
anatomy.
cycling too. Women can cycle as well. I cycle.
No, your maid ride bike to office.
But
Then
don't
you
even
quit
know how to
already.
cycle.
I cannot
Then
cycle.
resign. Okay, how about you?
I think I have a very capitalist answer. I think it
Okay.
depends on the leverage that the employee has over me.
Wow.
For example, like if you're on a role that already losing money, then I redesign this role so that
You can earn some
so you
money.
can earn more money.
Yeah, stay
Then
in the
you
positive.
jolly well do OT lah.
Whoa.
Right, you just do OT
Wait,
to
okay.
keep your job. If not, then I gotta let go of you.
Yeah.
Okay lah,
yeah.
yeah.
That's,
Right.
that's fair.
But then if you
Right.
are your employee like doing very well, then like I also
You
want to
have
keep you.
leverage, Yeah.
Then
Yeah,
lah, you know.
anyhow hoist something on you.
Then
right?
yeah, I will want to treat you like in the best way possible. Then yeah, you know, you can take some time off to do training, blah blah. We will find a way to cope.
Yeah, so that's another thing, right? Depends on whether the employee got options, right?
Yes,
Exactly.
yes,
Oh,
yes.
that's true.
I know it's very like
No, it's good.
brutal
It's good.
capital
We need
answer.
this
Yeah, but
perspective.
it's-
Yeah.
So
It's just
I
that.
also agree, but my agreement was also coming more from an employee POV. So I think if this is something that the employee suggests and really wants, then I think it's reasonable to say, can you do it after office hours or as an extra? But if it's something we ask you to do, then no lah, I don't think you OT and stuff. I will carve out time for you to go for these things and not have to come to office, of course. That's my perspective.
Then who will do the work?
Who will do? You have to find the way to do it. So it
So
will
the
be
OT lah.
toxic. No,
Yeah,
so it will be toxic. So what it will come down to us because we are such. We can do some roles, right? It will just be we have to take less business while you do the cost, and I'm okay with that because we can afford it. But if we can't, if there's a lack of resources, then obviously the options become much less. Then we have to talk about OTing, then negotiate lor. But I would like to not do that lah to people.
Of course.
Of course.
It's always the last resort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather not hire than be like a shitty employer.
Yeah.
I just don't hire. Then avoid all these ethical issues.
Yeah.
You underpay, right? I just don't hire you. I just overwork myself.
Yeah.
Sad.
That one I can handle, right?
Yeah. It's on me, right?
Okay, that's good.
So last question: why choose to go through a job redesign versus just find a new job? I think this is a more employee skewed question, but you guys can answer it too.
So if you find a company that say you really like the vibes and everything, I guess you want to grow in some other aspect, and if a job redesign can meet that need also, then it works out lah. You change you job redesign, but you keep your environment the same. Some people are more comfortable that way too. But of course there'll be people who either they hate the company environment or they want a change of environment. Then they may go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Or if say the job redesign is something they hate in the first place, then they won't stay lah, obviously.
Yeah.
So
Good answer.
woohoo.
Why you not clap?
Hey, your turn.
Because I never clap. Why you never clap?
No, asking him.
So when you find a new job, you are doing the same thing.
Perhaps Wen Xin's perhaps it's a traditional print artist, right? Then your company tells you, oh, I'm gonna job redesign to digital art, and
Or
you're
use
gonna,
AI.
Yeah, use AI, right? Why go through that painful process versus
Joining a new company.
join a new company
To do what? AI art?
to do AI art.
But why would I join a new company to do AI?
True.
Right.
That's why it depends. Like,
So
am
it
I
depends on the
going to the
company.
new company to do my same thing, or to
Yeah,
go to
that's
the
the
new
thing I'm
company
not
to do the
special
new
about.
thing?
Yeah.
But I guess either way, like
I
either
think,
way is about
so
the
either
company.
that or from the employer POV also. Like, should I just redesign somebody's job, or I hire somebody who already knows how to do the thing?
Yeah.
So it's a bit
yeah,
similar to
yeah.
what Wen Xin said, which is why I think
Comfort
like,
lah, right?
Yeah, and also trust, like your
Yeah,
earlier
comfort and
story
trust.
about
Exactly.
that boss that wanted to redesign your role
Yeah,
completely.
yeah.
Maybe he trusts you to a certain extent and your character.
Yeah, he did
And
lah,
that
I
is
guess.
something that I cannot just find in the marketplace also.
Right.
I need to spend time with somebody. In your case, 1 week, 1 month plus, right? To know that this person is good for it, then I might want to keep this person. I think that was a really cool thing that person offered to you, right? Even though you didn't take it, but it's a cool thing to offer, right?
Yeah.
During COVID time also. So I think from the employee POV, I feel like
Employer.
no, employee POV. I'm moving to employee POV now. I feel like everybody needs to think about redesigning. I'm not saying all the time because we did think
Yes.
about it, but it must always be on your mind. Companies need to do it too because the industry will shift. So if I'm gonna delay it, so let's say I don't want to do AI, I don't want to do let's not say AI, I don't want to do digital art, even though the industry is turning to digital art. If I join another company to run away from digital art, but
You'll
it's the
reach the
same
same
kind.
thing.
Yeah, I'm just delaying the inevitable. Unless I'm joining a new company that does traditional art, that does it in a different business model. Like this one purposely hand paints everything and sells it for a premium because that is the product. Then that one makes sense because I'm joining another business model.
We talked about trust earlier.
Yeah.
I think almost same as Wen Xin. Like I think even though end of the day business needs come first, like I feel it, I see it as like the last resort. The last resort we look at like the numbers, whether or not this person makes sense financially. But before that, if you like a person and you trust them, there's always the opportunity to be nice and gracious and try to train that person first, especially like this person. So I feel like if the person is someone you know you can trust, then you can
Right.
you can job redesign this one. But if cannot, then let's default to the business case, the numbers. If
Yeah.
don't make sense, then like
Right.
let go lah.
Right.
Yeah, I think same as all of y'all. Depends on the company I'm in. If I'm already very stressed out and I hate the company and I want to leave already, not here, I love y'all. Then
For now,
What?
who knows?
Every time you say that, I feel like
Yeah, we like oh
yeah. Now every time you say that, people will be like, oh my gosh, she's just saying it because she.
yeah, we got a gun.
12 guns.
That's
12
not the
guns.
case. Yeah. We cannot.
No,
afford it.
actually,
21 guns.
actually the guy in front.
There's a guy
Mind
there.
blown. Mind blown. So behind
front of
the
the
camera.
camera.
Yeah, I can do it.
Wait, what was I saying?
They say you agree with all
Hey
of
David, okay, put away the gun. It's fine, it's fine.
Yeah, it's okay.
Alright, okay. Yeah, so if let's say I like the company, then okay, no, let's say if I hate the company, then I know that I wouldn't be okay doing job redesign. Let's say for example, marketing, then transition to MarTech, right? It needs to be, I feel like job redesign and especially bigger companies have to be more structured. And not everybody gets it right the first time.
Oh.
Right? So you do need some guidance, some help. But if companies want to take it on without just try, right? A lot of times it fails. And sometimes employees are the collateral damage. So if I don't trust my employers enough to do it well, and if let's say they are not even like getting any help from like people in the industry, like they're just like, okay, let's try this new thing, right?
Yeah.
Then I would actually be a bit scared. And I would say, okay, maybe it's time for me to reevaluate. Will I be able to thrive in this role? If not, then I would say, okay, maybe I'll find a new job, since it's a scary thing, and perhaps if I have options outside, I'll try it lah. But if let's say here, I trust us, team of 4, like we trust each other, and I'm like, okay.
For now.
Yeah, for now.
For now.
Job redesign, I trust you all, let's go. Then that's fine lah.
Yeah. I think what's interesting, that this is something that we kind of talked about when we interviewed 2 other co-founders that were friends together, that started a business together. And this idea of trust, I think, is very interesting, and it's something that can be developed between co-founders, between employees and a company, and also a company and the employees. And it's like this special quality that is existing alongside just also the technical things that the employee or employer brings to the table. And it's this thing that takes a long time to build, or a longer time to build, and it's not so quantifiable, but once you have it, it can be a very powerful thing in being able to trust and then do other things to make a company move faster or move further. I think this is a very interesting quality that we can't ever quantify, so it's harder to talk about, but it's definitely a very big factor also in treating the way that you handle each other in the workplace, right? Yeah, I think this also extends back to just now, there was a question about who should initiate or take the first step, right? And I said employee. And I think I would still say employee, and I would trust the employee to suggest a lot of things, but the employee should have the mindset of being able to think from the employer's point of view. I think that's one of the most powerful things as an employee that you can have, which is that you're always willing to think about the business also, and what the bigger picture means. And this is also us as citizens and thinking about the country and the country's place in the world is the same thing. Macro thinking will always serve you very, very well, I find. And this is the best way to think about it as an employee. And it will make you even better at negotiating these things also. Because you won't just say, I want to go for this course because I have a dream to do this and I like this kind of activity. You say, I can make you more money because... And even if you don't have it at the start, you just have an inkling that you want to do, you're going to learn how to do oil painting. If you think on the perspective of the company, you might be able to find a business model that makes it work. Then you propose to me, and if it sounds good, why not? Right?
Just being what, a good negotiator.
Yeah, macro thinking,
Any final thoughts?
I think maybe one thing I should also think is that please take this with a grain of salt, because we are a very small company, and a lot of things that we can do, bigger companies cannot do. Right? So we have, some of us, been part of bigger companies, and bigger companies have their own way of negotiating these things, and we'd like to hear from you all in the comments also, like, because we are just talking sweeping statements. So many little stories here and there that we'd love to hear.
I mean, sometimes about. Like MNCs, they have like directions from HQ. If the Singapore office want to do this, then the Paris office don't want. Then cannot already.
And it's very frustrating because I have a lot of friends who work in MNCs, and my favorite thing is to go and hear them complain about all the difficulties they have. Not just in a gloaty way because we don't have these problems, but also to understand because this is solving problems at scale with multiple levels. It's so difficult, and I feel like if I ever were to, like, if Volkswagen went bankrupt or whatever, like, we have to go back to the workplace and I have to join MNC, I'll actually quite relish the challenge, to be able to think about how to navigate this kind of hierarchical landscape and overcome it. It's like a game almost to think about it, because I'm learning so much from talking to my friends, and then they'll see the whole thing. As an employee, they can see the way to go for the company to earn a lot of money, but they are blocked by so many things. So the game now is not doing the thing, it is navigating this in a big MNC. So we'd like to hear from you all, like, how do you navigate this kind of thing, and have you done this before and successfully convinced, like, upper management all the way to do big changes, and if so, how do you do it?
I think also it'll be interesting to hear how, if let's say you guys are employers or you guys are people who are on top, right? Have you guys implemented job redesign before? How did that go? We'd love to hear that. And this concludes our conversation, but a shout out to Workforce Singapore for sponsoring this conversation as well. It's our first sponsored podcast.
Thank you, Ramesh.
So if you are a business owner, or if you're an employee that works closely with business owners and wants to enact change and create job redesign opportunities for your employees, I would say check out their website at go.gov.sg/TWS-job redesign. I'll get Wei Choon to superimpose something here. Right? On their website, they have industry-specific job redesign initiatives to get you started, and that includes job redesign toolkits and grants. And these are also industry-specific. So maybe you're from F&B, maybe you're from hotel. They have different job redesign toolkits for different industries, because is very different. For our company, job redesign looks very different compared to your company as well. So if you're a business owner that's looking to drive change in the company and redesign your employees' jobs to keep up with upcoming advancements, or if you're an employee that just wants to support your company's efforts, check out Workforce Singapore's website at go.gov.sg/TWS job redesign.
Nice.
Here.
Yeah, here.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, so thank you for watching this episode. If we redesign our job to the point of abstraction and then like we can no longer work together and then the company had to shut down, this will be our last episode. Thank you so much, and it's been a great ride and we're very appreciative. Okay, thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.